Hey everybody, I'm Kate Bergeron. Welcome to Lutherville. In the spring of 2014, an unemployed struggling novelist, Eric Musbarn, started this video series. In it, he documents his purchase of 10 acres of land in the Mojave Desert, where he intends to build his dream house. Now, his dream house is Galatea Meridian, and it's a technologically advanced off-grid homestead. Eric knows what he's doing, too. He was recruited by Walt Disney, where he became a cast member and built websites for over 6 years. He was even courted by Apple Computers to program ebooks. So, if you happen to be a hiring manager watching this, remember, you can hire Eric to telecommute from anywhere in the world! From Spain to Florida, from New Zealand to France. You can always add his skills to your team. So, tension. Can he manage to find a job and successfully finance this dream house before he runs out of money and ends up sleeping on the streets? Let's check in. Here's the weekly update on his job hunt.
If you want to know more about my job experiences, you should also check out my book, How You Can Get a Job at Walt Disney Studios Without a College Degree, which outlines all of my job experiences before I got into Disney, including my time working at American Idol. Well, hey there, folks, and welcome to this episode of Lutherville. This is number 4 in my series of 5 videos about my job hunting efforts that took place right after I purchased Lutherville. So, this one gets a little bit down. This one gets a little bit gloomy. At this point, I had been job hunting for about 3 months, I believe, or maybe it was 4 months. Let me check. Let's check the, how many weeks was it? We're starting at week number 13. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it was just about 3 months. And, you know, it's weird to read journal entries from 2 years ago because obviously things change a lot. But this is one of the more important ones, I think, because as I've said in other videos, the whole point of this is to hopefully inspire others, right? And we all go through these kind of times where we're bummed out and we're frustrated. But see, the difference between myself and a lot of people is that the way that I deal with those kind of things is it makes me a lot more egocentric. I become a lot more arrogant and a lot more full of myself. And I think that is a very normal reaction. See, there are 2 ways that you can sort of react to failure in your life, right? I mean, let's say, for example, you're striving to achieve something, right? And you feel like you should be here and you're not, you know, and you start to come down, right? You start falling, you're not reaching that potential that you see for yourself. Well, there's really 2 ways that you can go when you start to come down, right? You can either say, okay, this is horrible and life sucks and I'm worthless and everything is meaningless, right? That's getting really depressed. That's coming down over this way. Or you can do the kind of stuff that I usually do, and I'm not alone in this. See, I never go that way. I never get really depressed and really down and especially down on myself, right? I've always gone the other direction, which is, okay, this really sucks and this is really horrible, but I'm awesome and other people are just stupid, right? That's the whole dilemma. So you can go either way, right? You can either say, oh, it's all on me and I'm just worthless, or you can say, no, I know that I'm pretty awesome. The problem is that other people don't appreciate it. So, hey, if that is egocentric and if that is conceited, then yeah, absolutely, I admit to being that way, and I am proud of being that way because I don't want to go over there. I don't want to feel sorry for myself. I'm just not one of those kind of people. I've sort of go the other way. So, having said all of that, let me start on this. So, I just kind of wanted to clarify that so you understand and you go, gosh, why is he such an arrogant jerk? That's why. Like I said, we all go through these kind of journeys. It's just a question of how you choose to deal with it. Week number 13, the 31st of May, 2014. The only interview I had this week was with Princess Cruise Lines. I was so excited to interview with the Love Boat. Unfortunately, I knew right away they wouldn't hire me. See, I'm a pretty upbeat and friendly person, and especially when I go on a job interview, right? I turn on the charm. And the people I interviewed with at Princess Cruise Lines were the most stoic and unemotional computer nerds you could imagine. 2 white dudes and an Asian chick, and I honestly don't think any of them ever cracked a smile during the entire interview. They were horrible people. The irony was, the woman who worked their HR department used to be at Disney. And she was absolutely fabulous, of course. A fellow Disney cast member is always fantastic. She was warm and personable and friendly and kind, and I liked her instantly. But the computer geeks, they were like talking to a brick wall. And worst of all, they did that hideous thing that a lot of internet companies do these days. They asked me to write code on a whiteboard. I build websites on computer screens. Oh wait, I skipped a whole line. Let me back up. They asked me to write code on a whiteboard. Who does that? In my 20 years of experience, I've never built a single website on a whiteboard. I build websites on computer screens where I can look things up and copy and paste. I don't know what happened in the internet industry in the past 8 years, but I really feel like the people in charge are getting more and more stupid by the day. In the past, people would look at my source code to determine how knowledgeable I was. No one ever administered tests. I mean, look, if you want to hire a photographer, you look at their photographs, right? You don't ask them to draw a picture. I graduated high school a long time ago. My resume and my portfolio prove my work. I resent the idea of being tested on my knowledge. That's an insult to everything I have accomplished. I've worked at American Idol and Weider Publications and Walt Disney Studios. That's the pinnacle. Disney alone puts me in the highest echelon of respected companies in the world. No one is worthy of testing me. I've already proven myself over decades of my career. When I interviewed at Disney, that was the first time anyone tested me, and I took that test for JavaScript and CSS and HTML on a computer where I could look things up and get answers to my questions. That's how developers work. We don't write code on a whiteboard or on a sheet of paper. All these idiots who ask developers to write some code on a whiteboard or jot things down on paper are completely clueless and ignorant to how programming works. I don't memorize the syntax of code. What kind of loser wastes time with that? I have too many other things in my head. Ain't nobody got time for that. As Sean Connery said in Indiana Jones, I wrote it in my diary so I wouldn't have to remember. I program websites on a computer so I don't write it on paper. I was really looking forward to working for Princess Cruise Lines. I'm just ranting because I'm disappointed. I really need a job. Or about 300,000 people to buy my novels. All right, moving on. Week 14, the 7th of June, 2014. Still spending hours on the internet every day. Still sending out a dozen resumes per day when I can. Managed to get 3 interviews this week. 1 on the phone and 2 in person. The telephone interview was for a company that sells stamps and shipping services online. Another was a last-minute thing for a company that offers phone number forwarding services. This is really humiliating. I'm a novelist. I worked for Walt Disney. I have paid my dues. I'm supposed to be landing interviews at world-class companies worthy of my experience. I should be interviewing at Warner Brothers and Universal Studios and Google and NASA. I should be getting producers, optioning my novels for films. That was how my life was supposed to go. Not begging for jobs at these trivial little companies selling stamps and phone services. Apparently, the universe has many lessons in humility for me. The other interview was for a place called The Search Agency in Santa Monica. They seemed really promising. I've mentioned them before. I've done one phone interview, and this was the first time I went in person. They are a company that offers search optimization consultation to other web development companies. I'm really good at that sort of thing. I've been building websites since 1997, so I know a thing or two about search engines. In fact, I'm so good at it that I once had my personal site banned from Google for about 5 years because I used every single trick in the book. And the tricks worked too, until I got caught. So in other words, not only am I fantastic at optimizing for search engines, but I am also personally experienced in what you should not do to your websites. I think I have a good chance to get a job with the search agency. It will all work out. I just have to keep believing. Okay, week number 15, which was the 14th of June, 2014. It said, this week, I literally had interviews every single day, Monday through Friday. Monday was a follow-up interview with the search agency, and then a follow-up call that Thursday. Great news on that front is that the director of the department is another former Disney cast member. I'm sure I'll get this job. The search agency has already interviewed me 4 times now, twice on the phone, twice in person. I have the alumni of a Disney person in there. I have the knowledge and experience to do the work. I think this will be great. I mean, after 4 interviews, I'm sure I've got the job. I've never had to interview 4 times anywhere. I mean, even Disney only interviewed me twice. So I'm sure I'll get this job. It's going to be awesome. Week 16. That's what? 16 weeks is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This is 4 months. So this was the 4-month mark of me job hunting. So, yeah, getting very frustrating. Week 16, June 21st, 2014. It says 3 interviews this week. The most frustrating thing was that company I was so excited about, the search agency, completely ignored me. Can you believe that? I am so tired of these unprofessional jerks in this town. Los Angeles really is full of scumbags. The search agency had me interview with them 4 times, twice in person, twice on the phone. Then they don't even have the common decency or respect to tell me they went with a different candidate. They just ignored me, didn't take my calls, didn't answer my email. Nothing. You know, I've always said that the point of my Lutherville project is to document the trials and tribulations of creating this project and to get both adults and children excited about innovations in technology. Well, let this be a lesson to the kids. Children, when you get older and you have jobs and you are in charge of hiring people, always be respectful to them. Take the time to contact every single person you interview and let them know if they got the job or not. When I was in charge of hiring people, I did that. I extended that courtesy. Do you know why? Because I'm better than everyone else. And I don't care how conceited that sounds. See, I treat people with the respect they deserve and none of the respect they don't. That is the only acceptable way for decent people to behave. If you don't do that, you're kind of a big jerk. Especially if you interview someone 4 times and then just stop answering their phone calls and emails. That's incredibly rude. Don't be that guy. Be better than that. Be better than everyone else. You know where I should work? I need a job in the space industry. That's where I should focus my efforts next. I mean, living in the Mojave Desert is the heart of the current space age. Edwards Air Force Base, SpaceX, Virgin Atlantic, X-Corp Aerospace, Mojave Spaceport. I'm right in the heartland of the modern space age. I'm like Vincent Freeman working as a janitor outside of Gattaca. I mean, this is my shot. Working for Walt Disney for over 6 years was the greatest accomplishment of my professional career. Absolutely nothing could be cooler than working at Walt Disney Studios. Except working in the space program. Maybe that's where I belong. People always called me a space cadet. Well, maybe they were right after all. Well, there you go. That is update number 4. So, thank you for watching this episode of Lutherville. And I hope you continue to watch the other episodes and check out where the rest of the job hunting excursions end up taking me.
So, you remember I mentioned Eric as a writer? He's written 8 books, including 5 novels. All of his books are available in paperback and hardcover as a special order from any major bookstore and from every online bookseller you can imagine. However, if you really believe in the Lutherville Project and want to support it, you can pay any price you choose for one of his ebooks. Be sure to check them out at doveshee.com or just look them up at your favorite bookseller. Thanks so much for your support.
Nope.
Hmm?
You said Dove She, you forgot the ink.
I did? Ah, damn it. Okay. Didn't even catch that. Thank goodness there's 2 of us in this room. Dove She ink.
Lutherville is an educational series inspiring kids and adults to become excited about innovations in science and technology by documenting the design and construction of a Mojave Desert homestead called Galatea Meridian. Witness the crazy story of how Eric Muss-Barnes, an unemployed computer geek and struggling novelist, risks homelessness by spending most of his life savings to build an off-grid dream house in the middle of nowhere. Having purchased vast acres of the Old West, can Eric find a stable job and create his home before his money runs out? Take a journey where fortitude and a pioneering spirit continue to forge the American dream on the romantic landscape of the American frontier.